Hi guys, how's it going? Okay, so let's talk about this last eclipse coming up. Thank God eclipse season is over with. That was definitely a wild ride. A lot of shedding, a lot of releasing of the past. And I'm sorry, I guess it's been a couple of weeks since I even recorded one of these, but I just needed to be during this eclipse season. And I think that's just a very important thing to do. It was a good time to kind of release and get really centered within yourself so you can be reminded of who you truly are moving forward. And, this next eclipse is really powerful. So we can plant seeds with really strong intentions with how we can manifest more of our dreams into this reality in a very practical way. So, hi, if you don't know me, my name is Jenna. I talk about astrology, energy updates here, ascension, all the things. I like to give you all the information that you need so you can manifest your best reality. So it's really nice. I went to visit family. I went back down to Orange County and just hung out there for a bit. And oh my God, Orange County is so much better than LA. Like LA is kind of like such a shit show. And yeah, just energetically, you can really, really, tell like with that. So definitely considering moving back down there and everything. All right, so here we are. So this eclipse is still happening in Virgo, but it's happening at the very beginning instead of the very end at 29 degrees. So this is very powerful because we are discovering how we can ground our dreams into reality, because Virgo is our everyday routines, our structures, our habits, what we do every single day physically to get us towards our goals. And there's just been a lot of unwinding with this because this opposition to Saturn and Neptune and Pisces, we're releasing a lot. We're getting aligned with our soul again. All the ways that we could have been in survival mode, that we felt the outside pressure of things, any of the ways that we kind of weren't in our own rhythm, with recognizing our higher destination and our soulful purpose, because we didn't really come here to just work and grind and slave away. We did come here to realize our purpose. This is our opportunity to become aware of that bigger soulful dream, that calling, and let the things unwind that have stopped us from going towards, that bigger dream. Because Virgo can have a lot of the doubts, like being practical for survival, just saying like, oh, that's not practical. That dream's too out there. It's too wild. And it is just to kind of stay safe. It can be a lot of fears of just doing things to do things, just out of fear of survival, out of fear of feeling obligated or needing to do it. And this is what can all be released now. South Node in Leo, we're getting in touch with our true identity that is from the heart, that is from the soul, and releasing all the false identities, all the false conditioning, all the ways we weren't allowing ourselves to be, and, go after our passions and go after where our heart is calling us. And, really not acting out of everybody else's expectations or feeling the need to put on a show or to join a group. Instead, we can really get back into our hearts and listen to that calling. Like, where are we being called? And also at the same time, where can we open up our heart more? Where can we have more love for humanity and all sides, and staying true to ourselves and who we authentically are, so we can find the right people and the right communities and the right friendships that are authentic with the North Node in Aquarius. Because what I love Jupiter and Gemini. We're uniting the sides. We're seeing more perspectives. We're getting more information. So we get out of the duality, actually. When we get out of the duality, there's a third way. And then with those different ideas, then we can build like a really solid, practical plan in our lives, but also see where we can kind of maybe fix things with these structures. Because I love this nice Earth trine we have going on with the Pluto and Capricorn. We are facing the obvious corruption that needs to be transformed. With Uranus, we're up leveling our values. We're really looking at what's really important to us. It isn't, at the end of the day, it's not like taking the corrupt job to shit on the rest of everybody, or, what do you really value? Do you value your time? Do you value comfort? Do you value, getting back to valuing the simple things in life too, and recognizing as long as you have those things, you don't like need much else actually to really make you happy and to live in comfort. It doesn't really take that much. We don't need to overextend ourselves. And maybe this is a way we're pulling back so we can recognize where we can do less and then just move from more alignment. What's actually going to be sustainable for the long term is listening to your heart and listening to your soul and really paying attention to what you value. That is where the new is going to be built. We need to listen to what makes us feel alive, what lights us up, and what makes us really happy, because that's what's going to take you into the new era. That's going to take you into what's really going to be valuable, because moving into the age of energy, the age of frequency, it has to come from your soul. It has to give you life, because people recognize, if you're doing something and if it gives you life or if it's draining you, because life supports life. So it's really important to get aligned with your heart and the new ways and really listen to your soul, so you don't go into the false North Node in Aquarius thing, which is, there's so many, they really want to make everything, surface and stale, and they want everybody to be the same, and they don't want anybody to really speak up, and they don't want people to really be connected to their feelings. And that's definitely for a reason. Because when you're disconnected from your feelings and you're not listening to your intuition, and you're fine with being apathetic, you're going to be fine with just staying online all the time, going into the VR, using your VR sets all the time, going into the pods or whatever they have for us in the future, instead of being really embodied and living, life, a really fulfilling life. And just for an example, what came up recently was they tried to redo the Cracker Barrel thing, and it was so rejected. They lost so much money because they tried to make it, stale. They tried to just really glaze over all the character of it. So that was the old, icon, and, or this was the new one. It was going to be the new one. And then also they were going to make it, very stale inside, very just like every other, sanitized restaurant, and completely changed the whole, vibe of Cracker Barrel. And they lost some money, and the people said no. So I think that's also very supportive of this, because people are recognizing what they really value and sticking with it. And, that's how we can keep those good things, in our lives. And that's how we can keep places with character and not let everything transform into, robotic, sanitized staleness all over the place, This is where, with Saturn and Neptune and Pisces, where we're listening to our soul and what really feels good. And that the Cracker Barrel was made from somebody's soul, probably somebody's childhood or something that, reminds them of, how they grew up. And it's just comfortable and, a slice of home. And you can tell, there's nothing. You can tell when something comes from the soul versus when, this is like a AI, just would draw this kind of restaurant up and just say, okay, it has to be clean. It has to be aesthetic. It has to have the fluorescent lights and all of that. No, nothing interesting. Don't go into the details and all of that. So see where maybe, you got too rigid with your own vision. Maybe there were things that you really weren't listening to, what you really like, what your soul really likes. What is that dream and that nostalgia and that comfort, that really makes you more of you. Because unfortunately, with the tech, and the AI takeover and everything, there's not, and that's why movies are so bad too, is because it lacks that emotion and people, can't always feel with them. They think we're going to be happy with a bunch of the superhero movies where there's just a bunch of AI all over the place and, them doing like insane things that are never even humanly possible, that's going to be super impressive. But the movies that you remember, that you love, that you will watch over and over and over again are the ones that make you feel. So feeling is the new currency. And you being able to build, a restaurant or a business or whatever from, that feeling of with how it makes you feel is very important. That's the new currency. And that's how energy is the new currency. So recognize where you might be hitting some blocks, where you might have not been doing something because of authority, because what would society think, because of whatever like that. So you can actually listen to your heart and what you want to create. Like me, I should have probably switched last year because I knew it was the right direction, but I'm like, but why is everybody else doing it like this? And I let that stop me instead of really following my direction. Because I think Sidereal, because there's, especially with the Charlie Kirk thing, and how much I went into Candace's channel after that. And I saw how many things are, very deeply corrupt, especially our religions, just since like, I think they really messed them up around the 1970, or wait, no, the 1700s or something like that. Like there's so many things that were kind of put in place to corrupt systems. And it's really important for you to connect to your own heart, because in your own soul, so you have the discernment with what's right for you. I do think the tropical system in the whole sign system is more so, it works and it works really well. But it's because the matrix is mostly built off of that system. So when it comes to manifesting, we don't want to manifest in that system. We want to manifest above that system. So that's why I'm switching to this one, because there's no lying about the as above, so below. That's the sky. That's the sky. That is the as above. And I need to match up with the as above and not match up with the as above like 2,000 years ago, 5,000 years ago, because that just doesn't make sense. It's the Earth's relationship to the sun, but they're not accounting for the Earth wobble. And then they're also not accounting for the sun and the whole solar system moving into a different place of the galaxy and how that, makes things shift also. So I think it's just super not accurate to stay in one stuck system that doesn't evolve, because everything's evolving, everything moves, everything changes. That's the only thing that's constant on Earth. That is just a guarantee in life. I will emphasize, at the end of the day, there is no right way, there is no wrong way. We're all on a spiritual journey, and you have to listen to your own truth. Whenever you get stuck in a system, or listening to an outside authority saying this is the way it should be and this is the only way it can be, and like you're not listening to yourself, then you're putting your masculine energy outside of you. And you're not listening to your own masculine energy, which is making you the authority of your life. So you have to question these systems. I mean, it's like you have to question everything right now, because there's so much in the world that, is like built on lies. So that's all I can say, whether it is religion, whether it is politics, whether it is whatever in your life, question it. Don't be afraid to question. And you feel when that real truth resonates, you really, really feel it. You kind of relax in your body and you're just like, oh, this is the way it should be. We all, recognize that truth when we hear something that really resonates with us, or we make a change in our life and we just relax. We're like, oh, that was the right way to go about it. For personally with the other system, I always felt rushed. I always felt like it was too fast and, just going. And it felt like being on a, treadmill. And that's because it is too fast. It's, a little too ahead of where we actually are. And, we're rushing into, systems and structures and creating things that, either won't be good for us or like won't really be grounded for the long term. You have to honor your free will. You have to honor yourself as a sovereign being and be able to make any choices that you came here to create, because you have your own individual soul. You have your own conscience and consciousness to make these decisions and really, see what resonates with you, because we all have our own visions. And we all get to have our own visions. That's what true love is letting everybody have their own vision and respecting it, because we all came here to do whatever to live out our own unique purposes. So really be in your body. If you need to make any changes with this eclipse season, if you've been feeling like you need to let something go, real truth, it just feels like you're coming home. It feels like everything's just right. It just feels like breathing, like something, that was always supposed to be there versus any noise that you have to force. And if you're in your mind a lot about something, then that usually means you have to change something, because you're questioning, making it try to fit. When the natural fit will always, feel like you're just coming home to more of yourself. And, just it's kind of recognizing what's already there, what's already inside of you. And that's also kind of what I recognize too with the tropical system versus the sidereal, because I went off of that for so long with looking at, oh, I'm a Taurus, so I'm like, there's only one way, like I am a Taurus. And, all of those, like the traits that, I do have, but I'm also thinking like, oh my gosh, like I think that was like a mask that I was also putting on just because I was so familiar with that energy. And I always mistook my fire, like the fire that I really have, for my Sagittarius moon. But when I look at the new chart, I'm like, oh, okay, that actually does make more sense. And, when you kind of get more into alignment with that other version of yourself, because then, again, we're talking about the soul. There are multiple versions of ourselves, and we can probably look at all the different astrology systems and say, oh yeah, that does kind of fit. I don't think we'll ever find one system that works for the entirety of the soul. So it's just like you recognizing maybe another part of you. And I would say, with sidereal, it would be more of that awakened part of you. Like I actually acted way more like my sidereal when I got awakened, when I was like super like, Kundalini energy and just really like pumped up, because I went through an intense awakening like that where the energy was just majorly like flowing and everything. And I came so much of my like higher self, like so fast. And, I'm like, oh yeah, okay. So, just stay open-minded, but at the end of the day, do what resonates with you. So let's look at the sky. This is my favorite part about using the system, because you can literally just look at the sky. Uh-oh, where'd it go though? So, and this is how it should be. We should be just more connected to nature and making, nature wins above man every single time. You can't, like, nature will win, will be long gone at the end of the day, one day. So, but until then, here we are. And yeah, the sun and the moon are in Virgo. You know that three-eye atlas, that giant massive comet? I guess it's last time I looked, I guess it was half the size of the sun, and I guess it's gotten a little bit bigger. Like not the rock in the middle of it, but I guess there's a massive plasma cloud around it. And yeah, it's traveling through our solar system at warp speed. Like, why doesn't the news talk about this? This is why like the news like isn't even like trying anymore, or it's just so obvious with like I don't know, promoting just entropy consciousness, you know, pulling everybody down, focus on Trump, focus on hating this group or that group or that group, and just all the bullshit that actually doesn't let you see the higher perspective with things like a massive object flying through our solar system, Fifth Element style. Like literally, it's moving so fast, like straight through our solar system. It's going to be going right past Mars, right past Venus, right past Jupiter, almost touching all of them. And, you know, it's not going super close to our sun, but I think it's going in between Mars and Earth. So it's going to be like super freaking close. And it's really weird that it's almost touching all of those planets. So it's actually going to be right here during this eclipse. And I really see this since it is a big ball of plasma that, you know, it came in from Ophucius over here, or actually a little bit before. It came in closer to the snake. Yeah. Anyway, that's the center of our galaxy, as you know. So that is, I think it's bringing in higher levels of consciousness. You know, because plasma contains consciousness, it contains, you know, energy. And with it going so close to everything and bringing that energy into our solar system, I think it's going to massively upgrade us. And it is just so weird that it's moving, actually, is that it's moving exactly along the ecliptic, you know, throughout all the signs. And then it's going to be exiting, you know, around Gemini and Taurus. So it's just such a weird path. And I think it's like a 0.002% chance that it would have even, you know, gone through that path, like it, or probably even less than that, 0.00002, probably. But yeah, so it could be, you know, it could be something that's being navigated by, you know, higher intelligence. But we will find out more as it gets closer in October. And I guess it's glowing green now too, which means it's like energy field is changing. So if you want to look at actually Stephen Burns on YouTube, he talks about it. It's really, really interesting and like so crazy. All right. So I'm going to go through all the signs. And if you want to look up your chart, you can, you know, I'll put 2 links down below for Dr. Danny's site or this site. And you can look up your sidereal chart and kind of go by that. And you want to look at your sun if you want to get aligned with your bigger soul purpose, you know, themes around that maybe you want to change and kind of, you know, get more so in line with. If you want to get more aligned with your soul and your life force energy and, you know, why you're here and all of that, then look at your sun. If you want to look at your rising, this is going to be the most accurate with events and everything that happens in your life. And I do want to put an asterisk, I guess, with this. If you have more of a, I don't know how else to say, matrix-based life, if you're more so in the matrix, if you're more so going off the Gregorian calendar and all of that, then I don't know how accurate this is going to be with predicting that stuff. Honestly, if you're a client and, you know, I'm going to look at both charts, you know, I'm going to look at the whole sign house chart because I'm still very comfortable with that. This is something new that I'm not comfortable with yet, but I know it's the right direction. So that's why I'm changing it and I'm choosing the hard path. But, if you want to get in alignment with your rising, and this is going to be the most accurate. Your rising is how you're perceived too, in life. And yeah, and then your moon is your internal perspective. That's your emotional anchor in this reality. It's how you think, it's how you perceive reality and events. So you can get into alignment with that one also. Here we go. We'll start out with you, Virgo. And I got my pumpkins back up here for you. So yeah, this eclipse, it's happening in your 12th house, with the South Node in Leo in your 12th house. So there's a big letting go of subconscious fears, your own limitations, the ways that you didn't really listen to your higher self. And, maybe, just your heart and that guidance with how you can really listen. How can you listen to your heart more in that guidance and then externalize more of that dream? And this can lead to a whole new beginning with you, yourself, your identity. How can you step more into, that embodiment? Maybe there was a bunch of ways that you kind of you've been holding yourself back and not recognizing your dream. With Leo ruling the 12th house for you, you might have a tendency to dim your light or, keep your creations to yourself. Maybe you're too afraid to put them out there, but this is where you can recognize it and know that it needs to be brought out in some way. Because with the North Node in your 6th house, there can be work, there can be routines, there can be daily things that you do in your everyday life that make you realize more of these bigger dreams that are really calling you. And also you realizing how much more you can externalize yourself and step into more of that higher embodiment. And when you make that decision to just be that person that has everything that you want and just also bring, at the same time, just self-actualizing more of you in your soul and externalizing it, why is that? I feel like I'm a little all over the place with how I said that. Anyway, that's how can you do more of that so you can show up out in the world in a whole new way and accept all the opportunities that can come your way? Because Jupiter in your 10th house with career, there could be new career opportunities that just feel so aligned. What's funny with this system, I feel with Jupiter that was in the 11th house, but now it's back in the 11th house. This last year, I've been getting way more soul aligned friends versus friends that I thought they, were going to be friends. And it's they weren't soul aligned friends, so there can be soul aligned career opportunities for you out in the world. Whether it is relationships, whether it is just for your career or just that bigger direction that you want to go in that you really know you believe you can go in, then it's time to really be open to that or really plant those seeds. This could be a good time to start that business. And I like how, this nice earth trine, there can be a deeper transformation with home and family. And then also, with kids, again, really knowing all of the ways you want to you want to let out that deeper soul expression, because with Pluto going into the 5th house, you could have past life gifts coming online, artistic gifts, talents, just things that you're naturally really good at that is being activated right now. So you can really put more of that out into the world, either with your own creations or just you expressing yourself in a whole different, unique way. And with Uranus, been trying to Uranus in the 9th house, just developing new beliefs, new visions, new ways that you can expand out into the world. that are very exciting but very unique. Okay, so firm foundation came out reversed. I think there might be, old traditions from family or the past that you can release, because there's a new way to maybe envision your future and family and foundation that is going to be more solid moving into the future. And it's like, yeah, you're recognizing more of your shadow. Oh, by the way, with this opposition to Saturn and Neptune in the seventh, there could be relationships that are coming your way that are testing you a little bit. Maybe like those soul connections come in either way, to help you grow and evolve. But recognize that they are always mirrors. And maybe what you're seeing in them is just pointing out something that needs to be recognized in you. They always bring something to your attention so you can grow and evolve and self-actualize even more so. And this is making you recognize your shadow, and there's always power in the shadow, where you can actually have more of a fresh start. The Maiden came out, so kind of a fresh perspective with the world that does launch you more towards your dreams and your foundation that you actually want to create for the future that's going to be fulfilling. It's not that illusion that you fell for in the past that you thought you wanted, but then you saw the reality of it, or, there were options and not all of them were great, but you're seeing what options are going to work for you now and what options you can move full blast with that recognition of the shadow. And that's it. All right. Thank you so much, Virgo. All right, Libra. So this eclipse is, the South Node is in your 10th house. So there has been a way that you've shown up out in the world previously that maybe just isn't really aligned anymore. So you're letting go. And at the same time, it's time to follow your heart, really, put your authentic self out there and really recognize that unique core of yourself that you want to put out into the world. And, so you can find the right people, the right opportunities, the right connections that will be the most expansive. So you can plant major seeds for the biggest expansion out in the world with this eclipse, and make a plan for it, and make routines and make habits that feel really aligned to you specifically. Maybe there's been a way that you've felt like you needed to show up and push really hard and, put on all those masks and, take on all the roles or whatever, that isn't really serving you anymore. So it's just going to serve you to be more of your authentic self and recognize where your heart is really calling you, and make a plan, make a structure, and, make a vision board or whatever for that. You don't need to just manifest with this eclipse, by the way. Manifesting is a everyday thing. And there can be a lot of opportunities with other people's money. With the Jupiter in your 8th house, so other people's money, your spouse doing really well, investors coming your way, or you just see different ways that you can invest your money that, it's like, yeah, it's just easier. It's not work smarter, not harder. There you go. So yeah, maybe opportunities to invest your time and energy in a better way too, but also, a major internal clearing out of fears of whatever was holding you back. You're being released from that. And then with Saturn and Neptune in the 5th house, yeah, blocks are being cleared when it comes to your creativity. And maybe you didn't express yourself in a certain way because of how you were raised. And maybe there's just blocks from programming, like we all have, that you are recognizing can be released, that so you can get more in touch with that soul expression that wants to just naturally flow out of you. When you recognize where all the blocks were just there out of fears or insecurities or whatever. Release them. So you just realize what you already had, so, and that when it comes to your manifestations or whatever you're creating, it can really flow effortlessly when you remove the internal blocks. So yeah, you're seeing how you're listening to your internal strength. This is a powerful time to really listen to your intuition and where it's calling you, because it's going to lead you towards a major foundation, money, and major money coming in. Queen of Pentacles came out along with 10 of Earth, and then foundation and achievement. It's like you're building your dreams that you've been envisioning or heading towards. And it's going to be really, really solid. It's going to be really, really stable. You're paying attention to that legacy that you want to leave out in the world that is coming from your soul. And, it can happen so easily and effortlessly when you're aligning with that. And yeah, there was a storm, I guess, with a shapeshifter. Maybe somebody not showing their true intentions or whatever. But that storm did you a favor, actually, because it's leading you towards more of that foundation. And you listening to your intuition, moving into you're developing a lot of strength with listening to your intuition in the first place. Oh, I wrote something down that I forgot to talk about in the beginning, but yeah, we should naturally be able to move with our intuition, like, super in flow as soon as we get it to, and that's how we actually manifest the best things, is when we listen to it right away and just move with it instantly. It should be thought, intuition, move, action, So I think whatever the storm was, it's refreshing you and cleansing out where you weren't listening to that instinct, where you're going to be able to listen to that instinct a lot easier and a lot faster. All right. Thank you so much, Libra. If you would like a reading, check out my link in bio. Scorpio, I guess it just got kind of rare for you to be a Scorpio, because look how tiny it is. It's, about as big as a Ophucius over here. So that's exciting. All right. So this is a new beginning with your career, your long-term goals, your legacy. What is your bigger vision with what you want to achieve out in the world? And how are you getting aligned with your beliefs and your ability to do it, so you can go after it? So this can be a big new beginning with you planting seeds and making a practical plan in routines, so you can go after that bigger dream. That is going to create a lot of stability and a lot of abundance with the Queen of Earth that just came out. And what roles and identities do you need to release that haven't been getting you there? Because with the South Node there could be roles, there could have been certain jobs, there could have just been ways that you showed up out in the world that isn't really authentically you, that isn't, aligned with you. You're not letting your full authentic self out into the world. Maybe you're not letting yourself be, the most powerful. Maybe you're not allowing yourself to really follow your heart. And this is like a whole new beginning for you to do that, to really listen to your heart and your soul and what's calling you, so you can have that freedom out in the world to be who you really want to be and create whatever you really want to create. And this would be the time to really make a really long-lasting, practical plan to really realize all of those dreams. And with the opposition to Saturn and Neptune in the fourth house, maybe there's just blocks internally that you're clearing up. Maybe you're really listening to your intuition now. Maybe you're recognizing more of your uniqueness in your own individual path, not your family's path or whatever. You're recognizing your unique path so you can put that out into the world. Let's see what else. This could be an opportunity where you're seeing that you want to move or something. You want to live like where you really want to live. You want to live in your dream home. And yeah, seeing where just those adjustments can be made, either with your home and family. Maybe you need to have conversations with, people in your family or people that you live with, so you can show up out in the world in a stronger way. Or, maybe you're afraid of your family members projecting on you or something, or maybe you've been holding yourself back from your dreams, where you can say, nope, I'm going to listen to myself. I'm going to listen to where I'm really being called, and, follow that hit, follow your instincts with that, because there can be a powerful way to make money and a very unique way that you work in your everyday life that actually gives you a lot of freedom. Okay, so 9 of air, something is giving you anxiety, and maybe whatever is giving you anxiety is what needs to be released. There's been something that you've been kind of mulling around in your mind. Maybe there has been an idea that would give you, that you've seen somebody else, make a lot of money with, but you haven't been doing it yourself. You've been holding yourself back because of the 9 of air, which is just like mental self-sabotage. So, but it's a 9, so it looks like that is fully being released. Whatever, mental self-sabotage, whatever blocks were holding you back with that. Because you're recognizing your masculine energy. The king came out. This is powerful masculine energy with the Queen of Earth to make abundance out in the world and make really lasting change. And it's all about, you're coming online right now, actually, with agape. Your chakras are all like being activated right now, and you're kind of awakening, to a new perspective, or just awakening to more of your own dream to realize, and that's pulling you in a certain direction. But yeah, there is a way you can release, where another 9, where you were suffering in silence, with all this like mental anguish, that you can release, or that mental anguish is showing you the direction where you can go towards more harmony, more stability, more money, more victory and success, with the 6 that comes out on this card. Abundance wants to definitely enter your life, with good relationships or money or whatever you really value. And it is all about just letting the internal suffering die, so you can recognize and go after those dreams. You really have the ability. You can really do it. And I think, oh yeah, Jupiter is in your 8th house, clearing out all those limiting beliefs or fears that stopped you from doing what you really want to do. So you recognize the opportunities and grab them and run with them all the way to the bank. All right. Thank you so much, Scorpio. If you would like a reading, check out my link in bio. Ophucius, here we are. Okay. I don't know how to say Ophucius. Like, people, I hope I'm saying it right, but people say it in all different kinds of ways. I'm going to look at that more so after this, but yeah. Okay. So the South Node in your 9th house. So this is about your beliefs, your vision, your meaning and purpose in life, and how can you get in alignment with that? Ophucius, you are powerful. You are the light bringer. You are the light bringer because you can recognize the dark. You have, gone through events and everything that have made you see the darkness of humanity, and so you can bring light to those situations, so you can transform things. You are the center of the galaxy. That is, the highest dimension, the highest light. So it's a tough job. What do they say to like Superman or something? I don't know. Lots of power with lots of responsibilities, something like that. You know what I mean? With great power comes great responsibility. That's kind of your job if you have this placement. So you're releasing major beliefs and programming that maybe you just, took on from society or whatever. So you can really listen to your own heart and your own soul. And maybe there's been some unique interests or conversations or podcasts or writing or, just learning something new that is opening up your world to a unique perspective and kind of also maybe helping you release these old programs. So there can be a whole new beginning with your purpose, your beliefs, your vision that you can really set in stone and make a practical plan for, so you can go after that vision, in a very productive way in the next 6 months. So definitely visualize and connect with your higher self, so you can get into alignment with that bigger vision and that you want to manifest that's really meaningful to you. So you can be on your Dharma timeline. Okay, because you're really motivated with work too. So now it's just time to really ground that dream into reality. Okay, so you're recognizing what is really the sustainer came out, and what is sustaining your heart? What is giving you that emotional satisfaction? Where is your higher self, pulling you towards, what is really motivating you at that deeper level? Because that's the seed that's being planted. It looks like a whole new seed is being planted, and it's going to lead towards community and friendships with the Three of Cups that came out, and joy and fun and excitement. But it looks like a whole new beginning. It looks like maybe it's possibly a leap with the Fool that came out. But with Jupiter in the 8th house, you're going to be lucky taking a risk right now, because the 8th house is all about maybe making a change, cutting something off completely. And when Jupiter's there, it's a lucky time to do that. So if there's an opportunity like that is leading you in this bigger direction, but it feels right to you, and like it's, just giving you that deeper emotional satisfaction, then that could be the right direction for you. And maybe this is you just recognizing more of your shadow, which sometimes in the 8th house, we store our deeper desires, and we don't let ourselves go after our desires, and then we suppress it, and it turns into jealousy or anger or frustration and all those negative emotions, where that's being resurrected right now, so you can fulfill your wishes, and you're recognizing your ability to fulfill your bigger wishes. So very exciting, listen to that deeper heart call of what just fuels your soul, what sustains your soul, because it looks like there's, a lot of exciting opportunities in abundance that can come from it. Saturn and Neptune in your 4th house, 3rd house, clearing programs, mental blocks, clearing out the past, having a lot of forgiveness for your past, and so you can also listen to that deeper soulful calling too. All right. Thank you so much, Ophucius. If you would like a reading, check out my link in bio. Hi, Sagittarius. How's it going? Okay. So with the South Node in your 9th house, you're releasing beliefs, that were possibly limiting. And this could be spiritual beliefs. This could just be programmed beliefs. This could be any of your own, things that you believed that were limiting, that weren't actually from your heart and from your soul, because your heart and your soul will never speak in anything limiting, where you can get more into alignment with that. You're majorly listening to your heart and your soul, and what lights you up and what makes you feel vibrant and alive and passionate and excited. So you can plant those seeds for a bigger vision with what you want to do out in the world. This is going to be a great time to, make a plan, make new habits, routines, set up some sort of structure, so you can be in alignment with that bigger vision that you want to manifest, and then be consistent with manifesting it in the next 6 months. So very, very exciting. And it's so funny because like Virgo was in the 10th house for Scorpio, Ophucius, and Sagittarius, but that kind of makes sense because we need a lot of Virgo energy to make the world go round. So that's why Virgo is such a large like constellation. But yeah, we're planting seeds for your bigger, and this could be career goals, just your legacy, who you want to be out in the world, the long-term plan, the long-term vision, so you can actualize it. And you could be releasing a lot of blocks with Saturn and Neptune in the third house. Maybe this was just mental blocks, mental ways of self-sabotage. Maybe you just need to declutter and throw things away so you can, just because stuff has energy. So maybe if you have too much stuff from the past, that, it could just be clogging up your energy. Say you're not that person anymore and this thing has a bad memory. This would be a good time to throw it away. Meet Marie Kondo it. Hold it in your hand. Do you love it? Does it bring you joy? Then keep it. And if it doesn't, maybe throw it away. But yeah, this looks like you could massively reprogram yourself with maybe new unique beliefs, unique ideas, unique connections. Maybe you write something, maybe you read something, maybe you listen to a podcast, maybe you connect with a random person that leads you to a bigger perspective or a new way of thinking that kind of breaks you out of the box, and it helps you release those limiting programs, limiting mentalities. I don't want to say programs always, but limiting mentalities that were keeping you, just contained and stopping you from really listening to that deeper aspect of you and your soul and your calling and your heart. So, and with Jupiter in your 7th house, good luck with relationships coming your way. And this could be business, clients, mentors, teachers, all of that stuff. So, the box came out. I didn't even see that. The box came out. So, and whenever the box comes out, it's like you were recognizing where you were in a box, where you're going through some sort of gnosis, and you go through gnosis by listening to your soul and really processing within yourself. And you come to some sort of knowing, that breaks you out of the box, that kind of gives you that higher intelligence of the way the world works, or whatever way a system works, or whatever way something works, that when you get to that gnosis, like it does actually really set you free, and it is awakening you to more of your creative abilities. So really give yourself to listen, maybe question things, question all the systems, really process it yourself, whether it is a belief, whether it is spirituality, whether it's religion, so you can, break yourself out of any outside boxes and create your own box where you can be in charge. And yeah, because Queen of Air came out, so you have a wide perspective of something, and this could be your hopes and your dreams and your plans. And you have this kind of knowing that you will achieve it, you can do it. And you have this wisdom that is really coming to you with this eclipse. And it's all about kind of getting out of your own way with the 8 of Swords reversed. It's like there was some sort of perspective or just mental self-sabotage that was keeping you stuck, where it's being released. And it's like, oh, I see. Now I see, everything's clear. This is the way. Yay. And it's soulfully aligned, and it's going to lead towards a lot of celebration and like-minded people and friends and victory and success. With the six that came out. Ooh, 3, 6. Is there a 9 here? No. Anyway, I was going to say doubly manifesting, the 3, 6, 9 method. Anyway, victory and success with the 6, material abundance and relationships and all the good things. Okay. Anything else? I kind of want to read the box just because I always talk about, the box, but I haven't read it in a while. So I, hold on. I'm just going to pause it because otherwise this will take forever. It goes XXXL with the Roman numerals. There you go. Okay, we knew that. Okay, the box, the cage, the rules, the norm. We all live to some degree within the confines of the box. This archetype represents everything that is known, anticipated, and expected. It holds us in place while simultaneously holding us back from our greatest visions. The box is sneaky, insidious, and everywhere, limiting us at the most unconscious levels. It is built of layer upon layer of social constructs and pressures. Breaking through its confines requires awareness, continued effort, and bravery. The box may appear as expectations from parents, a well-paying but heartless job, the pressure to look or behave like others, or to simply stay small. There is a box around you now made of some type of confining thought. What is in it? The box shifts and morphs as we grow. This is part of its multi-layered nature. Once you break through one layer, another layer presents itself to you. Keep going, break through. An exquisite life requires it. Yeah, I forgot about that. But yeah, when you go through all the layers, there are so many layers and so many boxes, and you don't recognize it until you kind of go within, go through that internal awakening and everything. So you break out of the box and you really set yourself free with your own gnosis. So you're breaking out of the box in some way. Congratulations. Very, very exciting. And yeah. All right. So if you would like reading, check out my link in bio. Thank you, Sagittarius. It was getting dark in here, and I was looking like super gothic, but you can't see my pumpkins as well. But I mean, I don't want to look gothic. It was too dark. Okay. Anyway, hi Capricorn, how's it going? So with the South Node in the seventh house, you're releasing your either beliefs about relationships. You could be releasing relationships that aren't really aligning with you now, that aren't really making you happy. There could be past life relationships even coming into your life right now. But yeah, there's a whole new way to be in relationships with more authenticity, more vulnerability, maybe recognizing more the power of vulnerability. And there is so much power with vulnerability, especially moving into the age of energy, where you can open up to the right relationships. You can say, this is who I am, love it, love all of me or not. The right person will love your shadow and everything. So, and you'll be able to let them in. So there's a whole new beginning with, this moon is happening in your seventh house with relationships. Maybe you needed to set boundaries. Maybe you needed to release boundaries. Maybe you needed to make time for relationships. Maybe, whatever spectrum you're on, because Virgo, maybe you're a workaholic and don't want to open up to relationships, or it's time for you to prioritize your hopes and dreams first before you do with relationships. What is that bigger dream? What is that bigger vision? And how can you be in alignment with that? With the opposition to Saturn and Neptune in Pisces, you could, be getting a boost with your self-worth. Maybe there was a certain way you saw yourself in a certain way that you could only be in a relationship. And this could, happen in so many ways. Like men always feel a pressure to provide, and they always feel like a bank account. And for women, we feel like we just have to be beautiful and whatever else for us to be worthy. We both have, we all have our worthiness issues. And you could go through some sort of dissolving of some of those beliefs or some of whatever was going on. So you get to that deeper soulful essence of yourself and you realize that you are worthy. And especially the more that you just allow yourself to be like that full essence of you, and be that, connected to your heart and your soul and your spirit and unconditional love, that is what'll make you worthy to the world always. But the North Node in the first house, yeah, there's a new unique way that you can express yourself, your individuality. Maybe you have been holding yourself back. And I'm thinking like this is kind of this, for some reason, you are going through a reinvention anyway. With Saturn so close to Neptune, it's like you're releasing a lot of the old roles or identities or ways that you became very rigid with, just in life in general. So with Pluto in Capricorn in the whole sign house, you still went through that. So it was still like difficult and you've had to go through major transformations and everything. But now it's like you can soften up a bit. You can become a little bit more free, a little bit more connected to everything and everyone, because it's less about doing it all on your own and all for yourself. And if you can actually be vulnerable and open up and let somebody in, then actually that's what's going to make you more successful in all areas of life. We're going to be able to lean on each other a little bit more, in the energetic age of Aquarius, whatever. Okay. So yeah, new ways that you can express yourself in Aquarius is unique, different. It is authentically you. It's not being afraid to find your group, of rebels or weird people or, that have unique interests, and just, letting your freak flag fly so you can connect with friendships and communities and like-minded people that really resonate with you. Sorry, Dan is going crazy. And yeah, this Earth trine, it just looks like, you're also just releasing a lot of internal blocks that were there. So the village came out. Oh, I love that. I didn't even see the cards before. But yeah, the village is like, don't be afraid to look weird. And if, people aren't appreciating what you're putting out there, then you will find people that do accept you and do appreciate you letting your full self out and you not being so blocked off. And yeah, the shaman came out. So it's kind of like you're going through this deeper internal purge of really releasing stuff. And when you do that, you find the diamonds within yourself. You're finding that the core within that you have to offer the world that is so much deeper and purer and more powerful than anything outside of you. So this does look like a little bit of a heavier eclipse, but you're finding the gold in it for sure. As the moon came out reversed, these are deeper subconscious beliefs that are purging, being released, really coming up. And it's like an awakening with the tower that came out, like you're just being shocked, awakened, like enlivened in a certain way. So you can fully, come online in a whole new way. Tower card always reminds me of a awakening. And it's going to release a lot of obstacles and challenges that were in your way previously. And some of these could have to deal with relationships that are deceptive or envious or jealous. And, they put on a front, put on a mask, and you just know they're not your people now, So don't be afraid to start whatever projects, or go after your dreams, that you really want to create, that you really want to manifest, because of the fears of what would they think, It looks like you're majorly releasing and majorly purging those so you can really start whatever you want to start, create whatever you want to create, and find a lot of freedom, power, and just awakening yourself with it. All right. Thank you so much, Capricorn. If you would like a reading, check out my link in bio. Hi, Aquarius. So South Node in Leo in your house of relationships, it looks like Again, there's a release of relationships. This could be ideas. This could be actually letting go relationships, walking away from relationships. This could be romantic, business, friendships, partnerships, clients, not family. Well, family, if they're really that bad, but hopefully not. Could take a break for a bit. Whatever relationships, there's a restructuring of relationships. There could be making new boundaries. This could be having serious conversations with relationships in your life to really see if they're aligned. Because the North Node is in your sign. You're growing, you're evolving, you're kind of recognizing new versions of yourself and different ways that you can put yourself out in the world, step into more of that full embodiment that does let you have that freedom, freedom of expression, freedom to manifest the life that you want to create. And yeah, it looks like whatever blocks, you might, be confronted by a certain relationship. Relationships are always mirrors that kind of brings more of that out of you. Maybe you recognize the shadow in somebody else and you're like, and you can, recognize that within you, or the gift in somebody else and recognize that within you. Because either way, you'll find the gem with, either of those situations. But it's going to release a lot of blocks from that bigger soul expression that wants to come out. With Saturn and Neptune, maybe there was a way that you became too rigid and too structured and thought you had to be a certain way and thought you had to be this way to take on this role or this identity, or you had to be there for this person and that person, and you had to bend over backwards and you had to whatever it is, really ask yourself, is it aligned with you now? Is this where your heart is calling you? Is your internal self really agreeing with this bigger direction that you're going in, and who you're working with, or who what relationships that you're in? Is it all fitting with the long term, in that bigger vision, in that soul calling with where you're going? Then yeah, it kind of looks like as soon as when you step more into your authentic self, there can be powerful relationships. This could be a really strong new beginning with relationships that, you help them, they help you. It's equal give and take. It's balanced, it's fair, it's harmonious. It leads to bigger opportunities out in the world with your hopes and your dreams. And, it kind of clears out the clutter of your everyday life, whether that is just having fulfilling conversations that, elevate your consciousness or make you think differently, or they actually really do help you out in your everyday life. And, that clears out a lot of the clutter. Yeah. Okay. And then Jupiter in your fifth house, there's a ton of creative ideas and your creativity coming online. So King of Fire, yeah, time to be passionate, time to be bold, time to really follow your heart and your, the ways you want to express yourself, the ways that you maybe have an idea and you see the vision and you're excited about it and you're ready to go blaze that trail that no one has ever, gone in that direction before, but you see the opportunity, or at least you're feeling it in your body and you're excited about it. Because yeah, it does look like that opportunity can bring in a very solid new beginning. And there is a message coming your way that is going to be a very solid opportunity. This could be a very strong relationship coming in if you're if you want a romantic relationship, or if you want a business partnership. Really, really, really good. Okay. The mirror came out. So recognize everyone's kind of mirroring us at the end of the day. And we can always use that as an opportunity to kind of self-actualize in a more powerful way. This siren, yeah, there's a deeper call, maybe that you didn't even realize, that is coming to the surface right now. And it's going to lead you in a certain direction. And yeah, I think you've had a lot of mental conflict with maybe certain relationships or certain ideas, and that's being released right now. I have a feeling it does have to deal with relationships. But as soon as you have that conversation or you really come to that new awareness, there's going to be a lot more harmony in your relationships and possibly a really strong soulmate connection. If you're single, this is a good time to date and put yourself out there. A really long-lasting connection can come your way. Mirror. The mirror came out. Let me read the mirror. Okay. So the reflection, the illusion, the looking glass. We look into mirrors every day without recognizing them as portals into another realm. They can shatter, flatter, distort, reflect, and project an image back to us that we deem to be true. The energy of the mirror is all about self-perception. When the archetype of the mirror appears, we are in the mythic land of Narcissus, who saw himself reflected in Dan. As soon as I said narcissist, he squeaked. So maybe some of you are dealing with a narcissist who saw himself reflected in a pool and fell in love with his own image. So compelled by his reflection, he could not turn away, a fixation that eventually led to his death. Recognize the power and the danger of the mirror. It is a construct, one that may drive a shard between you and your true self. The mirror contains trickster energy. Put the phone down, stop with the comparisons, and let the mirror stand empty for a while. Rest with the one inside. So yeah, there is a way that we can compare and contrast ourselves to other people. But the best way that we can reclaim most of our power is when we kind of become an empty vessel and we kind of let all of that stuff go and we listen to that inner calling of, where we're being called. And there was this kind of reminded me of that one influencer who, this influencer, she came out so vulnerable, and I cried listening to her TikTok, Michaela Noguera. And, she's a beauty influencer and everyone always rags on her. And there's multiple accounts and everything, just about her looks and everything. And it's, God, it's so hard, like Jesus. And, maybe, there's a way you think you might be being looked at or you're afraid to be looked at, or even if you're going through that kind of situation, where you can just stop caring, because we're all people at the end of the day. We all have our flaws. Every angle of us is not perfect, of anyone. It's not perfect. I mean, for most people, I have seen Alessandra Ambriosa, and she's actually pretty perfect in person. But anyway, there's freaks of nature like Alessandra Ambriosa that's gorgeous all around, but that's her. And then, but the rest of us, we don't all look perfect, and we will never ever be perfect. So I don't know why that came up, but yeah, every angle of me is definitely not perfect. I am actually, kind of a little awkward too, in person. So anyway, just love. This is an opportunity to love all parts of yourself, and at the end of the day, when you do that, that's how more of your soul expression can come out. And that's how you can express yourself in that full, unique expression that, lets you fully step into your power and into this king of fire energy to go blaze that new exciting trail that'll give you a lot of freedom and relationships and money. All right. Thank you so much, Aquarius. If you would like a reading, check out my link in bio. Hi, Pisces. Okay, so this looks like a big release of, whatever was holding you back in your subconscious. There's a bigger connection with your soul, your higher self, your internal world, and really getting in there and listening so you can bring the whatever you release all the blocks, whatever, all the ways that you are maybe getting in your own way and stopping yourself from self-actualizing those dreams, where you can step into more of that embodiment. And, this is a big release of the blocks that have been stopping you. And there can be, with the new moon happening in your 7th house, this is a really solid new beginning with relationships. And maybe you thought you had to be in a certain way in relationships. Maybe you were over giving in relationships. Maybe you were caring too much what they think. There is a way that you're getting soulfully aligned with relationships, and maybe you have to let a relationship go. Maybe you're just not like aligning with them anymore, but you're getting aligned with the right relationships that are going to have an equal give and take. They're going to be fulfilling. They're going to be very balanced and harmonious. And with the South Node in your 6th house, you're releasing the old ways, the old routines, the old habits, the old, just old habits and routines that aren't serving you anymore. This could, maybe you're deciding to take on a diet or something that really just makes you feel vibrant and alive and really gets you in tune with your heart. Maybe you decide to take up yoga or meditation or a daily writing practice, working on your creativity every day, so you can have more fulfillment with your dreams. Because, fulfillment of wishes want to happen, but you're going through a transformation. Transformations aren't always comfortable, but I always compare it to the caterpillar going into the cocoon, and then it turns into a thing of mush. And it doesn't have to know that that's going to happen or how that whole transformation is going to happen. You literally just have to trust the universe and know that it's going to happen. And at the same time, maybe go within, listen to your heart and your soul to know that everything's going to be okay. That is really crazy how that happens. I wonder, do they still have a brain when it turns into mush? But I don't know. You go to sleep, you chill, you get more into being, and then you let yourself be in the most easiest, effortless way possible. So this transformation is happening. Oh, and I love how this is 13. So with the connection to feminine energy, which is a vision, dreams, your intuition, calling you in a certain direction, that's leading you towards this transformation that's going to allow you to go towards your fulfillment of wishes. Because the 10 of Earth came out too. So this is a lot of money. This is a lot of abundance. This is a lot of stability. This is the legacy that you want to create out in the world. This could be you planting seeds for a big money boost. So you can look at all the new ways that you can make that abundance. So Queen of Air came out reverse. This is, you're releasing either, a critical friend or maybe somebody in your life that was, maybe a naysayer to your dreams, or maybe you're releasing the own ways you stopped yourself from actualizing your dreams, and self-actualizing the wisdom that you naturally have. You have a vision, you have dreams, you have a vision, and now you can let yourself really go towards it with, getting the inner critic out of the brain, or not listening to the inner critic anymore, listening to more of your heart and your soul, and, where you really want to go, listening to your dreams. Because the nectar, something sweet is coming your way, and it's going to be pulling you in a certain direction. And you're going to be able to commit to it because it'll feel nice. It'll kind of feel like the right direction. And it feels like that soul calling. And that's what you're committing to, because it's just this intuitive hit that you're getting that's leading you into a lot of abundance and your hopes, dreams, and wishes. So if it's a little tough right now, know that it'll be okay. Get into your body, get into that faith, trust, do things that feel good, follow the signs, follow the synchronicities, and see where it takes you. All right. Thank you so much, Pisces. If you would like reading, check out my link in bio. Hi, Aries. Okay, so this is happening in your 6th house. So this is your health, your diet, your routines, the way you exercise, the way you structure your work. And there can be a whole new way that you're doing this that is more aligned with your heart and your soul and who you truly are. Maybe you want to work smarter instead of harder. And this is all possible. You can definitely come up with a lot of creative solutions that help you structure things in a better way. With this opposite Saturn and Neptune in the 12th, like 12th house, it is 12th house, or no, in 11th house. It's in the 11th house. Releasing all the blocks and limitations that maybe stopped you from going after your bigger dreams and that bigger soulful calling. So yeah, it looks like, kind of dissolving of all the blocks in the ways that maybe you thought society worked, or the way you had to go about things, where you're actually seeing a bigger vision and a bigger dream and a better, more creative way to achieve everything. So this is a good time to take on a good diet or routine or exercise, start something like that. How does your higher self live every single day? What does she do, for work? How does she dress? All of those things. How does she take care of herself? You can kind of make a plan, really get a structure going down so you can achieve all your hopes and your dreams and your wishes. And yeah, with this nice Earth trine, it's like this can help you go through a whole transformation with how you show up out in the world. And this can help you kind of evolve into a different version of yourself, where you might have previously held yourself back. You are reinventing yourself. You're letting yourself be that highest version of yourself and step into that full embodiment every single day. And you're just being her now, you're being her, you have it, it's already yours, law of assumption. And yeah, okay, so the crone came out. So there's some natural wisdom that you're getting during this eclipse that is guiding you in a certain direction, or maybe you get some sort of wisdom from somebody, but you're recognizing what's ending, the bardo. What's ending? And then at the same time, there's this whole new vision that is coming from within. The bardo, it is like that limbo space. It's kind of like the void, but it's where you get that magic, within. And it is like that. This looks like an eye. It's like that soul magic that can only come from the bardo, come from the void. The infinite, and you're making yourself accessible to be a tool for the divine. So magic can happen through you, and you can make miracles happen. Because accelerated motion, something could happen really, really fast, actually, and a lot easier than you ever really thought before. And it's all about really listening to your emotions. Where have you been pushing too hard? Where have you not been listening to that soul fulfillment, where, there's something pulling you in a certain direction towards happiness, towards excitement, towards whatever's giving you that feeling. And now it's time to listen to it. It's time to really go hermit mode and listen to that calling. Listen to your emotions, because your emotions aren't just emotions. They're guiding you towards what you really want. And yeah, Page of Air, an idea might come your way, a conversation might come your way. And it's time to recognize Ace of Air came out reverse. So what's like maybe a stale idea that has already been done before, that's not the same direction that you're going in, and you're going to know by how you feel. And then what is an idea that's going in that direction that you want to go in, and it'll take you to your dreams really, really fast and towards abundance. 2 8s came out, which is long-term stability, legacy, money, all of that. All right. Thank you so much, Aquarius. If you would like a reading, check out my link in bio. My cat Daniel is literally running around going insane. Hi, Taurus. Okay, so this is a new beginning happening in your fifth house. Fifth house, yeah, maybe a little bit of fourth house. So you might be releasing any internal blocks that were stopping you from listening to your heart and that deeper soulful fulfillment. And this is a whole new beginning with fifth house things, which is, who do you date? Who do you love? How do you love? What romantic story do you want? What do you want to create? What do you want to manifest? How do you want to express yourself? What is really fun to you? What fuels your fire? What are you really passionate about? And you fully getting into alignment with that so you can make your dreams come true, your biggest manifestations come true. And with the opposite Saturn and Neptune in the 11th house, there could be blocks being released with friendships. Maybe you're finally getting aligned with soul fam and, co-collaborating on a bigger level. Because you can definitely make bigger dreams happen with a group of people with Saturn and Neptune in the 11th house. And then also just blocks being released that were stopping you from realizing that bigger dream that you really want to manifest out in the world. Now you're seeing, like, maybe you saw, a way society did it or other people did it, but ultimately the best way to do it is going to be your way. Your own path, you listening to your own intuition and your own calling to make it happen in the easiest way possible. And yeah, so you're listening to your internal child. So your internal child is coming online and shining a light with where you want to go. What made you really excited, when you were a kid? What did you love to do? That is a part of your purpose, because you're taking your plans and your visions really seriously with what you want to materialize out into the world, because there is a mountain that you are envisioning, that a legacy, some sort of achievement that you're ready to kind of actualize out in the world. And it won't have to be hard, if it is aligned with your soul and what you're really here to do. That's going to lead you towards this fulfillment of wishes. And you might go through some sort of transformation, but like I said, I think this came out for Aries too, or Pisces, but transformation with 13 came out. This is divine feminine energy, so it's listening to your intuition and your internal world and the dreams, and letting yourself kind of maybe go hermit mode so you can really listen. And then it's also like the caterpillar going into the cocoon. It doesn't know how it's going to turn into the butterfly, but it turns into a pile of goo, and then it sprouts wings. It's kind of an awakening too. Like, you don't really know the different perspectives and the different ways that you'll see things, and the easier way that things can be done that is perfectly aligned with you. So you can go be a butterfly out in the world. So you might be going through some sort of transformation, but it's literally setting you free and setting you off on this magical timeline. So really just have trust and faith in your vision, in your inner knowing, and your inner child's vision with what you want to manifest out in the world. And yeah, you'll go towards the right relationships. There's possibly a relationship coming your way. It could be romantic. Two of Cups is the soulmate card. So, a strong soulmate coming your way. Have patience. This is a good time to date. Really, know who you want to manifest in your life. Write everything down that you really want and watch them come in. Maybe you meet them through friends. Maybe you meet them through going after some sort of passion or interest, because temperance card came out. So this is a lot of luck and expansion and things that are spiritually aligned, and then also just materially abundant coming your way. But you got to have patience. You got to have that vision within yourself and have patience. And then a ton of blocks are being released. So the 10 of fire, it's like the burden that you were carrying around that you didn't need to carry around. It's done with. It's the 10, you're releasing it. It was heavy. It was dead. You're releasing it, you're transforming it, and you're setting yourself free. All right, Taurus, if you would like a reading, check out my link in bio. Hi, Gemini. Okay, so this is a new beginning in your fourth house. Yep, your fourth house. Maybe a little bit of your third house too. So you're releasing any internal blocks or limitations that you had within that weren't letting you live as your authentic self, where you weren't living from your heart, from the core of your being, with who you are, with the most authenticity and no fucks given. And this is what you want out of life. This is what you want to go achieve. And maybe it's just past programming from childhood or whatever that's being released, and you're realizing there's a way that you can go about your dreams anyway, and release all the blocks. Just seeing a bigger perspective with those blocks. They didn't even need to be there. This is a good time to really make your home very comfortable. Throw stuff away, see what's just taking up space, clearing out the clutter, so you can have a nice foundation, nice solid roots going all the way down, so you can go achieve the most out in the world. And maybe you're discovering that you want to move for work too. This could be a new beginning with finding a place that is more suitable with that overall direction, that bigger direction that you want to go achieve out in the world, because you are very lucky with Jupiter in your first house. You are lucky or expansive. You can step into more embodiment and receive a lot of opportunities that are very, very soulfully aligned and very expansive towards what you want to do out in the world. Okay. So authority came out. You're stepping into more of your authority out in the world in a whole new way, really claiming your masculine emperor energy, which is really important. You're not outsourcing it anymore. You're claiming it within you and realizing you always had that opportunity to do that within you. And you're seeing the light with that. You're having a lot of freedom. You can radiate light out in the world. You can actualize your vision out in the world. And, it just feels, it's like you're lifting a weight off or something. Like you're seeing how you can be super free to go make that abundance happen out in the world and to live in that very unique, exciting way that you want to live. Well, maybe, however you want to live, it doesn't have to be super unique or exciting unless you want it to. But North Node in the 10th house, that's saying go after your unique desires, connect with those, find your people, like-minded people. They might be different. Find your unique group to connect with. And you can only connect with them if you're really letting your heart out, letting your freak flag fly. And finding people that support your unique dreams. So you can make a bigger impact out in the world. Because Magician came out, you already have all the tools that you need to make your manifestations. Your bigger dream wants to happen, and it can happen in a very easy way. And it's all about listening to your intuition. You're definitely headed towards the 9 of Cups energy, which she is super fulfilled. She loves her job. She loves her life. She is happy on her own, and that makes her super magnetic to manifest in love later. And yeah, super creative energy too. So this could be a creative project that you're launching out in the world, or, you know, starting at home, then launching out in the world. And agape, this looks like majorly awakening. You know, agape, when agape comes out, it's like all the chakras kind of turning on. So you go through, um, you know, so your perspective shifts and everything, and you see how much you always kind of had so much freedom to create whatever you wanted to create out out in the world. But yeah, there could be a relationship coming your way. I drank way too much soda and I'm almost done. With Ophucius, I have to do 13 now. So maybe I'll get, no, I'm going to keep Ophucius, but maybe I'll combine, you know, Scorpio and Ophucius. But okay, so you're committing to your dreams. You're committing to peace, harmony, love, the best relationships, your soulful calling. As long, if you make a vow to that, if you commit to that and you're internally just aligned with what you want to manifest, then you can make magic happen in the world. So you're definitely getting into alignment, listening to your emotions, what makes you feel really good, where is your heart calling you? So you really know what to commit to. And yeah, it looks like you just are seeing the light. You have a lot of trust and faith to go make it happen out in the world. All right. Thank you so much, Gemini. If you would like a reading, check out my link in bio. Hi, Cancer. Okay. So you're planting seeds in your everyday life. This could be your third house is your mentality, what you read every day, your writing, what you're listening to. What do you do in your everyday life? And how can you make a plan, make a structure that is healthy, sustainable, the most supportive for you so you can go reach your dreams and your vision? And how are you getting in alignment with your beliefs? Because Saturn and Neptune, maybe you're taking a serious look at your beliefs and your bigger vision and what is really meaningful to you, what gives you a lot of purpose. And you could be going through, you know, a bit of awakening or just discovering new ways of seeing the world, a new worldview, a new perspective that's kind of opening you up a little bit more. So that's pretty exciting. You know, you could be dissolving any beliefs that were keeping you too contained, that were maybe dogmatic, that didn't let you see the unconditional love for humanity and everything and everyone, where that's being released now. And now you can you know, release that, realize that as long as you have the right perspective is almost the most important thing. And you are really connected to that deeper calling and that meaning and that purpose that you have within you. Then you can be on your Dharma timeline. Then you can make magic happen out in the world. So you could be getting internally aligned majorly so you can really trust your heart and soul in the universe to go towards that higher vision that is meant for you. Okay. So the mirror came out, and that usually has to do with relationships, you know? Relationships are just a mirror at the end of the day, and, you know, they mirror back to us whatever we need to know so we can step into more of our own power, more of our own embodiment. Because the king energy came out, your masculine energy is majorly being activated, and you're recognizing how you have the ability and always had the ability to make your dreams happen in the easiest way possible for you. And yeah, it's just like the blocks are being released. So, truth. Yeah, something is being balanced out, though, I think, possibly with a relationship. There's an opportunity to have communication so you can be aligned with the right relationships. And so you can actually build with the right relationships. because I love this earth trine. Maybe you've needed to have a conversation for a while. Maybe you've wanted to get, maybe you have a vision of what you want out in the world. Whatever is that deeper meaning that you want out of life that you're getting in alignment with, so you can connect with the right people, have the conversations, and have major transformation in your relationships. And then, major breakthroughs with how you can achieve your bigger hopes and dreams for the future. So I love this earth trine, and you're seeing the light. It kind of looks like maybe you're going through a little bit of a awakening, a little bit of a release. And it's so funny because this card always looks like my mom. She literally looks so much like my mom. There's 2 cards in here that look like my mom. It's like the new beginning one and that one. But yeah, you're seeing the light. You're getting intuitive hits or insight to go in a certain direction. And yeah, this happening in the 9th house, you're easily getting visions and downloads and just awakening and a gnosis. So you know what's really right for you. And it's really balancing things out and bringing some sort of truth to you. So a message could be coming your way. Messenger of air came out. And this could be some sort of relationship or something that does take you in a certain direction to create a lot of stability. Because the 8 of Earth came out, so that's stability, and maybe you got to learn something else, or maybe you need to develop this skill a little bit more, but it's the right way to do it, and it's going to lead to a lot of quality and a lot of just solidness. So let me read the King, actually. The Mirror, but the Mirror earlier, I don't know. I want to read the Mirror, even though I read the Mirror earlier. Yeah, because the King is literally just stepping into your masculine energy. Let me read the Mirror. Okay, the reflection, the illusion, the looking glass. We look into mirrors every day without recognizing them as portals into another dimension. They can shatter, flatter, distort, reflect, and project an image back to us that we deem to be true. The energy of the mirror is all about self-perception. When the archetype of the mirror appears, we are in the mythic land of Narcissus, who saw himself reflected in a pool and fell in love with his own image. So compelled by his reflection, he could not turn away, a fixation that eventually led to his death. Recognize the power and the danger of the mirror. It is a construct, one that may drive a shard between you and your true self. The mirror contains trickster energy. Put the phone down, stop with the comparisons, and let the mirror stand empty for a while. Rest with the one inside. So you're kind of emptying out so you can just open up to more of yourself and release any, more of the illusions or whatever needs to be emptied out. But at the end of the day, and when you get aligned with that internally, you know how you see yourself. That is the most powerful mirror, so that's how you're getting aligned with this eclipse. And do I want to read the King? Might as well, because I kind of felt that. The ruler, the commander, emperor. If our lives are imagined as a kingdom containing the entire spectrum of the human experience, the king presides over it all. Through the lens of the king, we assess the state of our land, make decisions, and rule accordingly. Therefore, the king must be thoroughly and regularly vetted as to avoid corruption. Recognize the dual nature of the king. He is either seated in a benevolent, in strength, guiding you towards peace, or he is oppressing the weak out of a need to control. There is not much middle ground. Some think of the king as ultimate expression of the ego, yet great kings of mythology and history serve from an egoless place. They are their throne with grace and humility. They take their throne with grace and humility, knowing the divine uses them as a channel to heal deep and long-standing discrepancies in the kingdom. So yeah, there might be like father wounds coming up, or some, wounds coming up around masculine energy. So you can step into more of your masculine energy on the throne, with more grace and wisdom and all of that. Or you could be dealing with some sort of masculine energy that is, kind of going through this healing. So they're stepping more so into their healed masculine energy and king energy. Yeah. It looks like some sort of truth is coming out, and it could be like a boss or something with this, or a teacher with this being in the 9th house. But some sort of truth is coming out, and it's the lights cleansing out the distortions. So that's very exciting. All right. If you would like a reading, check out my link in bio. Thank you, Cancer. Hi, Leo. Okay, so this is happening in your 2nd house, kind of in your 1st house too. But so there's a new seeds being planted with your money, with your self-worth, how you make money. And maybe you're releasing the ways that you thought you had to make money, and just getting more soulfully aligned, getting more, because at the end of the day, we shouldn't think about money. We should actually just think about expansion of consciousness. And then that's how like the money happens. And the more that you can kind of think of it like that, the more abundant you can be. Because with Saturn and Neptune in the 8th house, there can be things that are being released, and the 8th house is full of all the reasons of why we don't do things. We stop our desires, we stuff them down, we stop our life force energy from moving, and it creates a lot of rage or resentment or jealousy or whatever. And that can definitely be released right now. There can definitely be just a bigger release of projections and fears and doubts and all of that. So you can go achieve your deeper desires out in the world. And so you can self-actualize in a whole new way. Because with the South Node in your 1st house, you're really releasing old roles, old identities, old ways of being that isn't really true to you. Maybe you had to take on, maybe you thought you had to be this way, or, be a certain way. I'll say for me, like maybe you thought you had to dress a certain way, or, be more responsible. Like, I don't know. They say like, you shouldn't wear belly shirts if you're like a certain age, but it's like, but if you can and you look great doing it, then I'm going to still do it. So like something like that, like where you can just be you, and not let anybody else like care, about whatever you're doing. All you have to do is love yourself and know what you love and how you want to be out in the world. And as long as it's authentic to you and aligned with your heart, then that's all you need to know. So it's funny because I went to Canada, and like all my long shirts were like shorter shirts. They're like, oh, you're gonna freeze. Like, okay. I mean, it didn't get that cold, but I'm in California, so I can wear belly shirts, whatever. But anyway, okay, so, and then this is also about relationships. Who are you merging with? With the North Node in Aquarius, you want to find like-minded people. You want to find your, you might have unique interests and whatever you like. And this could be an opportunity to find those like-minded people that are going to be friends, or a group that you connect with. Or this could also be a different way that you discover to reach out to clients that, is really just true to who you are. You're not trying to market in the old boring way that is very corporate or very whatever. If it speaks, like if it's coming from your soul, it's going to sound the loudest, it's going to speak the loudest, it's going to really resonate with whoever it's supposed to resonate with. And with Saturn and Neptune maybe there's a way you need to be vulnerable in relationships. This is the soft spot. This is like really getting into those deeper emotions when it comes to relationships. So you can have more compassion and love and forgiveness. So you can let yourself be vulnerable again. So you can let yourself open up. So you can really let those deeper, fulfilling relationships in. The only way to have relationships in this new era is to allow vulnerability. So seeing where you can open up and say, whatever, like, this is me, like it or not. There's no suppressing it, because you're only going to hurt yourself if you suppress it. And seeing who you can get on the same page with. But yeah, it looks like this can be really solid with, how you show up out in the world, making breakthroughs towards your bigger career goals and legacy out in the world, and maybe seeing how you can work smarter, not harder. So great time to really get in alignment with your heart, with how you want to make your abundance, how you want to make your money. Maybe you do need to cut back on spending. Maybe you need to spend more. It's all about, how you value yourself and boosting up your value and your self-worth. And that's also connected to money also. Also, if you need to get your teeth cleaned, because second house rules teeth. And that's linked to money too. Everything's connected. We don't know how, but it is. The gem. So with this heavy 8th house activity, you're going deep within you, like into the gravel. Look, there's like worms and thorns and all this shit like in there. And you're finding the gem within, that gem never goes away. It doesn't matter what happens to you throughout life. You can always find the gem. And sometimes like when people go through tough stuff, like, you get hardened and everything, but that's also how the gem can be built. So, or, how the gem even happens, is with that pressure that you've had to go through previously. So you're going deep within and recognizing that deeper soulful beauty that wants to come out, so you can have the best relationships, so you can maybe start that soul aligned business. So, you can just manifest more of what you need to give to the people, actually. Because when you have the gem card, it's like this needs to come out into the world and shared to the world, because it's precious and everyone will really value it. And the creator came out. So you're really opening up into your creative abilities in a whole new way that will help you manifest whatever you want, that is aligned with your destiny. This is a big alignment towards your destiny timeline. And there's something about memories of love, like maybe something that you like to do in the past that is also connected to your destiny. Or it's just something that you used to like to create, something that you liked, as a child. What did you like to do as a child? Because that's your inner child, and that's your unique gifts and talents that you were, always meant to pursue or develop. So you can do more of that. So you can share that with the world. And that is also your gem. Messenger of Fire came out. So there might be some new passion, some new spark that comes your way that kind of gets you out of this hangman mode. Maybe this is a project that you've been like dwelling on for a while, or, a change in your life, or wherever you've been in that hangman mode and haven't actually been making progress or effort. I think you're going to get that spark or a message coming your way that, opens you up to your destiny timeline, that helps you go create a lot more. Okay. All right, Leo, if you would. Oh, and I do want to say, because Jupiter in the 11th, like I've had, besides with the other system, like Jupiter in the 11th now, like real friendships that are soulfully aligned and opportunities that are like very abundant and, very growth oriented. So I love this. Be open to opportunities and different connections and people and different ideas, different ways to break out of the box. That might seem random but exciting, but is exactly where you need to go. And that's usually how you can be on your destiny timeline. is that you listen to that spark within you, you listen to that voice within you, and that's taking you exactly where you need to be. All right, Leo, if you would like a reading, check out my link in bio.